Yo, what up, YouTube? We back at it again with another banger reaction for this channel. You got your bev? You got your food to go with your bev? Make some popcorn for this reaction. You probably gonna need it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Oh, and hit the like button while you at it. You done? Alright, bet. Let's get into it. Wait, why are all these people around and touching somebody's casket?
December 3rd, 1993, in Medellin, Colombia. It is not just an ordinary man being buried. He is the most powerful drug lord of all time. Some called him Robin Hood, while others, a terrorist.
Calling him Robin Hood is crazy. Calling Pablo Escobar Robin Hood is crazy.
And drug lord.
I mean, he did do a lot for Colombia, but he did also cause a lot of harm.
Day, the crowd was so large that the Colombian police and army had to maintain order at the funeral. But why were 25,000 people at the funeral of the most wanted criminal in the world?
25,000 people attended his funeral? That has to be like a world record.
Why so much chaos and sadness? To learn about the day of the funeral of the biggest drug lord, keep watching this video. The horrifying day of Pablo's death. Don Pablo, after 16 years as a drug kingpin, his end was near. He was on the run from everyone, from the Colombian American government to the rivals of the cartels, and everyone wanted him. But there was a big problem.
That's what happens when you're making too much money. Everybody wants to come after you. Now, I don't need the government. Everybody.
No one knew where he was. But the CIA already had Pablo's family under control, and they were waiting for Pablo's fatal mistake. On December 2nd, 1993, Pablo called his son. Pablo knew this was a risk, but perhaps he saw that it was over, and he wanted to hear from his son one last time. This was for the CIA to locate Pablo in Barrio Los Olivos, a neighborhood in Medellin. After an intervention by the Colombian Army and American Special Forces, they killed the only bodyguard and Pablo after an exchange of fire.
Yeah, if you watch the Narcos episode or episode series, yeah, you'll see what happened. It was a really good show. I recommend you guys watch it if you guys haven't watched it already.
Immediately after that, Viva Colombia was heard on the radio. From the cheering of the army, we just killed Pablo Escobar. Public reaction to the death of the drug lord.
Drug lord Pablo Escobar was killed today, 16 months after his escape from prison.
Soon after.
But he built his own prison. That's not his fault. He was in his own prison. You guys let this guy stay in a prison that he built. So was it really an escape, or did you guys mess up really bad?
After the news spread in the nation, there was turmoil in the country. A flashpoint was so great that it awakened people from every corner of the country. The news of his death spread like a plague. News channels couldn't say another word, but Pablo Escobar has been shot dead. The drug lord is breathing no more on the Colombian soil. Radio channels were screaming loud out that Escobar is no more. The crowd's reaction to Escobar's demise was a fusion of sadness and admiration. There was a palpable sense of loss and suffering. The game was changing for the drug.
I mean, I can see why a lot of people attended his funeral, because he did do a lot for Colombia. I'm pretty sure he was giving out all the time. And didn't he run for mayor or something like that before? And he technically was at one point.
Dealers and everyone wanted to take control of the pitch. The government took the Pablo family in custody, and suddenly there was a gabble in the Colombian streets. People started to emerge to the death scene. It was no longer what a myriad of people showed up at the death scene. They were no other but followers of Escobar and came to hail their Robin Hood. He was a ruthless cocaine baron to government, but a hero to the people of the hillside of Medellin. The Colombians will remember him as the man who gave millions to the poor in Colombia.
Damn, he gave millions. They won't even do that nowadays. That shows the type of person he was, even though he was doing what he had to do to make his money. He gave millions away.
The funeral day. A large number of people arrived at the funeral, and Pablo's family and friends were also there to pay their last tribute. Some were saddened by the loss of their Robin Hood. Others were relieved that Escobar could no longer carry out his criminal activities. The mourners wore t-shirts with pictures of Pablo Escobar, and some carried signs like, "Pablo, you will always be with us," and "Long live Pablo Escobar." Reports say that the crowd was so big that the drug lord's family couldn't open the car doors that took them to the funeral, and they had to turn around and miss the funeral.
Wow. Nah, that's kind of messed up. They could have at least let the family through or made way for the family. What?
The drug lord family mourned him in silence and fear. The death of Pablo Escobar had a major effect on his family and friends, who were not only grieving his loss, but also feeling the effects of the media spotlight that surrounded the news of his death. After he died, his body was taken to a local morgue in Medellin, Colombia. After paying their respects to the fallen drug lord, Escobar's family fled the scene as reporters and their enemies surrounded the funeral. The funeral was held at the Jardines Montesacro Cemetery in Medellin.
See, but like, if you guys knew that this was going to be a big case of you guys killing this dude because you guys wanted to put him behind bars and he wasn't going to go without a fight, why are you bringing his family into the spotlight now and interviewing them and doing all this type of crap? Y'all got the man that y'all wanted off the streets, literally off the streets. But now you're bothering the family. That's the problem with the media nowadays.
And 2 days after his death, thousands mourned that horrifying day, saying their last goodbyes. The authorities tried to maintain order, but they couldn't stop those outraged mourners. After stopping the crowd, they fought back and went to the funeral. But the burial was carried out with such urgency that the priest tried to say some prayers but eventually couldn't perform them due to the push and pressure from the crowd. His family faced many problems: fear of the enemy, pressure from the government, and accusations from the reporters. It was one hell of a day. When the reporters ambushed the family, Escobar's son uttered in anguish, "We are just going through a lot and trying to make..."
Yeah, like, why don't y'all just leave them alone? I really don't get that about the media then and now. If somebody big died, got shot, why are y'all going, the paparazzi going straight up to the people's face? Hey, how do you feel? Or like, you guys want answers when they're just trying to mourn the death of somebody that they lost as well that was close to them. We need to stop doing that. In total, like, we just need to stop doing that because that's not right.
Make our lives normal. For my mother, my sister Manuela, and me, the past 24 hours had been the most intense hours of our lives. Not only did we have to deal with the terrible pain of losing the family head in such a violent way, but the funeral was even worse. This day changed so much. Some lost their family head, some lost their hero, while others got rid of the most notorious criminal on Earth. What do Colombians think of the legend? Pablo Escobar was a controversial and polarizing figure in Colombia. People there have different ideas about it. Some admire Escobar as a Robin Hood-like figure who used his power and wealth to help the underprivileged and oppressed of his community. Some Colombians despise him for being a violent and immoral drug dealer who was involved in criminal activities. Many of the Colombians say that Pablo is a black story for the country, like Hitler for the Germans.
That's a crazy comparison. I don't think that's the right comparison because he gave away He gave back to his community. He gave millions to the poor. Millions. Nowadays, they don't give nothing to the poor. They just let them rot. Hitler? We're not even going to talk about that. You cannot compare Hitler to Pablo Escobar at all.
Some say Colombian passports are looked at the airport more than necessary because of the name of the country. This irritates them. Since his untimely death in 1993, opinion has been divided over whether he should be remembered as a folk hero or a horror story. What do you think?
I feel like he could be remembered as both. It's just the way you want to look at it. He gave away millions. He did a lot for Colombia. But then again, he was one of the biggest drug leaders, cartels, whatever you want to call it. I think he was bringing in billions of dollars every single day. But at least we could say he was giving back. He wasn't bringing his money in the right way, but he was giving it back in the right way. I could say that. Let me know what you guys think about Pablo Escobar. Do you think what he did was right? Or do you just despise him like, I don't know, some of the media would have back in the day? Or even now? Let me know what y'all think. If y'all made it this far, I appreciate y'all for watching this far in the video.